This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good evening, Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 7, 2022. And in the news this evening, 35 killed last week, murder tally climbs to 1,329. 35 people were killed in Jamaica last week in one of the bloodiest 7-day periods since the start of the year. This brings the national murder tally to 1,329 as at November 5, 2022. It represents an 8% year-on-year increase in homicides, 98 more than 1,231 recorded for the corresponding period in 2021. Of the 19 police divisions, St. James 181, Westmoreland 126, St. Catherine North 124, St. Andrew South 121, and the St. Catherine South 105 are the top 5 most murderous divisions. Portland has the fewest murders with 10, a 38% reduction when compared to the period under review in 2021. Shootings, injured persons, and rape cases have declined year-on-year. Robberies and break-ins have increased by 20% and 9% respectively. Bunting calls for government to outline crime plan before JLP conference. Opposition spokesman on national security Peter Bunting is calling for the government to urgently outline its plans to address crime. He made the call on Sunday at a People's National Party town hall in Portmore, St. Catherine. Mr. Bunting says that the country should not have to wait for a political party conference to be told about the government's plan of action to tackle crime. In October, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang announced that Prime Minister Andrew Holness would disclose the government's plan to fight crime at the Jamaica Labour Party's annual conference on November 20. But Mr. Bunting has blasted the government for this arrangement, arguing that it is politicizing crime.
I want to ask Minister of National Security Horace Chang why in October he announced that the Prime Minister is going to, on Sunday, November 20th, indicate the government's plan to fight crime. What is happening on Sunday, November 20th? It is the Jamaica Labour Party conference. That is when announcement. While scores of people are being murdered in the month, we have to wait on party conference for them try and use that to get little audience for them conference. That is politicizing crime.
Statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force show that 1,294 people have been murdered in Jamaica up to October 29. This is 92 more than the 1,202 murders recorded for the same period last year. Slikiana was strangled, autopsy finds. An autopsy performed on the body of social media personality Anika Townsend, popularly known as the Slikiana, revealed that she died of strangulation. A senior investigator told the news that the autopsy was conducted on Saturday. He said investigators are now making arrangements to question Roshane Patterson, the man listed as a person of interest in her killing. Miss Townsend's body was found floating in the sea in Redding, St. James by a group of beachgoers on October 21. The body was found with a cord around the neck. Patterson was captured during a police operation in Hanover last week. He has been charged with abduction and assault with intent to rob in relation to a 2018 incident in Duhaney Park, St. Andrew. Security guards protest alleged ill treatment. Several placard-bearing security guards staged a protest in the middle of Crossroads in Kingston Monday morning. The guards say they are protesting the injustices in their sector regarding years of poor treatment, long work hours without the benefit of overtime pay, and the absence of other benefits accorded to workers categorized as employees under the law. Slavery has been abolished. It is full time for it to stop. We are being ill-treated by these companies. A lot of people see the injustice and they are silent. I won't be silent. We are all human beings. Our rights should not be trampled upon. And that is what has been happening, said Leroy Morris, a security officer who held up a placard declaring "Emancipate ourselves from mental slavery." Security companies know what we are supposed to be paid, yet we have to take them to court individually. Enough is enough. It is hard for us to be standing on location for 48 hours, for 36 hours, and at the end of the day, we don't know what we're going to do for our families. I am not afraid. I am not a slave and no longer will be treated like one, he added. Security guards employed in the private security industry recently celebrated the ruling by the Supreme Court, which in effect now means they are entitled to the benefits applicable to employees. However, change has been slow in coming. The Supreme Court ruled that security guards engaged by Marksman Limited are employees and not contract workers, and that the company should begin paying its portion of National Housing Trust statutory contributions immediately. The wide-ranging labor and legal implications of the ruling theoretically imply that every other provision in law that applies to the workers would be applicable to them and should equate to better treatment by security companies of its employees. Teddy Lee Gray, president of the Jamaica Association of Private Security, said the protesting workers are demanding what is ours as employees, including a 40-hour work week with overtime pay, sick leave with pay, as well as other features.
We're here to demand what is ours. You know, the Supreme Court ruled on September 23rd that we are employees, not contractors. So we are supposed to get the rights of being employees. For example, 40-hour work week, overtime, etc. Sick leave with pay, etc. etc. We're going to see some memos and some things sending out the guards about maybe next year, and they're having consultation. And none of us aren't invited in the room to at least talk to whatever the government are negotiating with. Or with nobody see consultation with us.
Tufton says a PNP protest outside hospitals irresponsible. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has responded to the opposition's calls for his resignation by taking them to task over recent protests, which he has described as irresponsible. In the last 2 weeks, the People's National Party has staged several protests outside of hospitals in their call for Dr. Tufton to resign following the deaths of more than a dozen newborns at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. But Dr. Tufton said while the opposition has the right to lobby for action to be taken, the tone and the location of the protest is ill-considered. He argued that the protest, especially outside hospitals, could give the people the idea that somehow it is unsafe to go inside the hospital.
We don't want to get into a tit for tat and a kias, nor do we want to be irresponsible, any of us as leaders, to give an impression by standing out at a hospital gate with a black outfit or orange outfit that somehow it is unsafe to go in a hospital. It is an irresponsible act, and they need to stop it. Stop it on behalf of the Jamaican people. Stop it if they mean the Jamaican people well. There are other ways to express yourself. They did some of that in Parliament. Never got anywhere, but they did it. And that's their right to do. But we mustn't give Jamaicans the impression that if they're sick, they can't go to a hospital. That if they're not feeling well, they can't go to a health center.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.